What's up, guys? This is my take on the BT17 Omni DNA deck. For starters, with the Tama, we are running, of course, 4 of the BT14 Koromon. This is the best red Tama going on right now, so of course we're running that. Plus it's Koromon, which comes up in this deck, obviously, when you check a security, or when a security is removed from your opponent's stack, draw one. Very good. We're going to start with our Gabumon package. We are playing 7 Gabumons total. We have 4 of the new BT17. Start of main, when you have Matt, you get a draw card. Very nice. Good draw power for the deck. Then the second effect is end of turn DNA, which is very good. Obviously, we are also playing 3 copies of EX4. Now, EX4 cannot Evo on top of your Koromon, so this is something you're always hard playing. But it only top decks cards. It does not bot deck cards, which is very nice. So you get to grab 1 Garu, and then you get to grab an Agu, Gray, or Omnimon. So this does search your Omnimon. And again, it doesn't bot deck, which is very nice. And then the inheritable, which almost never comes up, is when another Digimon Digivolves, gain 1 memory. So that's it for the Gabumons. Next, we are playing 6 copies of Agumon. I'm running a full 4 of, again, the BT17 Agu. His start of main is if you have tie. The Gabumon also does require Mat. I don't think I specified that. If you have tie, you get to recycle a piece from your trash. It can be a Garu, a Gray, or an Omni. You just get to pick it up out of your trash. This is really good mid to late game, being able to recycle those pieces you need for your DNA combo. And then, of course, he has the same end of turn DNA effect. And then I only run 2 copies of BT12. This card reveals 4. You get to search your Tamer, you get to search a Greymon or an Omnimon. So you're guaranteed a tie, but you get Greymon or Omnimon. This one does bot deck stuff. And then, of course, his inheritables all turns if you're Greymon or Omnimon, plus 1000 DP. So that's it for the Agumons. This deck only plays 1 level 4 and 1 level 4 alone, and that is the Greymon, the BT17 Secret Rare. Again, this card does not interact with this Gabumon. That Gabumon can only be used with your Warp effect. You cannot Evo this guy on top of him. So when Digivolving, if this Digimon has Koromon in the name, plus 3000, and then you get to delete a card on the field, your opponent's field, with equal or less DP as him. All turns, he has all the names of the cards underneath him. So if you have Koromon underneath your stack, that's how he gets the name Koromon. That's how you get the plus 3000 DP. He also can be treated as a Gabumon, because you can Evo on top of Blue, which is very good for your Warp plays. You can Evo on top of him, get an extra draw, and then hard play one of your level 6s and treat this as a Gabumon, which is very nice. And then on deletion, both on the board and as an inheritable, you get to play a tie from your hand for free. And then I believe you get to hatch in your breeding area.
It's either or.
Either or. So you get to either hatch in your breeding area or play a tie or Kari. I'm not going to lie, I don't think I ever used the hatch effects. I might have misplayed with that. I actually can't remember once triggering that. Then next to the Metal Garu package, we're running 4 of the BT17 Metal Garu. You can Evo on top of a Garu for 3, but you're honestly never doing that on top of a level 5. What you're looking at is the win on play. If you have Mac on the board, reduce the cost by 3, making him effectively an 8 cost. And then on play / when Digivolving, you can activate one of his effects, which is very similar to the Alter S deck. If you know how the Alter S deck works, this one just hard plays it instead of Digivolving and chains. So you can either target a card on your opponent's board, a Tamer or a Digimon, and make it to where it cannot suspend. Or you can Digivolve one of your Agumons into a War Greymon without paying the cost. So obviously this is how you get your 2 level 6s on the board for your DNA play. And then his inheritable is if you're Omnimon, you get to unsuspend once per turn when attacking. And then next, I am playing 2 BT15 Metal Garu. Me and Sean are talking about other options for the Garu spot, but I think the stunning ability is really good, especially against hybrid decks, because the hybrid decks are going to want to set up their Tamers, and this just telling their Tamers they can't do anything for a turn really hurts them. So that's why I'm going with him. And then, of course, he has Evade. He stuns 3 cards, and then all turns once per turn. If he becomes suspended, he can unsuspend. So that's very good. You're only ever really using this when you're using the War Greymon effect, because he does the same thing, obviously. So, but he's very good in this deck. If you ever get to naturally warp onto one of your Gabumons, it's just free real estate. Next, for the War Greymon package, we are running 4, of course, of the BT17. He does the exact same thing as the Metal Garu. If you have tie on the board, though, you get to reduce it by 3. And then, of course, he has the on-play when Digivolving, but he will delete an 8,000 DP or less, or warp into a Metal Garu. So, same thing as the BT17 Melga, just delete something instead of stun something. And that's an either-or, you don't get both. And then, of course, his inheritable is once per turn when attacking, if your name is Omnimon, you get a trash top card of your opponent's security. Again, very much like the Ultra S deck. Then if I play 2 BT14 War Greymons, this card's actually really good in this deck. I think this is the first deck that is properly taking advantage of it outside of the Bond decks. Because of how your Tamer works, you can warp this off of your Metal Garu effect. And if this guy wasn't hard played the turn it came out, like you promoted an Agumon or something like that, you can swing for 2 security, end of turn DNA, go into your Omni, and then your Tamer will let you swing again. So that's really busted. That's why I play this card specifically. And then, of course, just generically having Raid, Piercing, and Security Check +1 is very good. Then, of course, the main man himself, we are playing 4 copies of Omni Ace. This is the heart and soul of your deck. You want to be able to Omni Ace your opponent as many times as possible, or put them in a position where they have to walk face first into this. There's a lot of ways to do that in this deck. So first things first, hand counter Blast DNA. If you have a War Greymon or a Metal Garurumon on your board, you can tuck one from your hand to DNA into the Omni. It has to be from your hand. So if you have 2 of them on the board, you can't do it. It has to be in hand. And then, of course, he has Raid, Blocker, on play when Digivolving. If DNA Digivolved, you can choose one of your opponent's Digimon and return all of it in the same level to the bottom of their deck, and then delete 1 Digimon. So this essentially is almost always a board wipe when you're going into it. I did misplay with this once tonight, and I think it cost me a game against Diaboromon. I popped the stack that had their own deletions instead of bot decking it. That's just me being dumb. But this card is honestly like super broken. Just being able to be essentially a board wipe for free, especially when we get to the option card. This card's absolutely nutty. Of course, you're going to be unsuspending with it with the Melga effect. You're going to be trashing security with it. This card's just absolutely bonkers. And then, of course, 1 Alter B. I've seen some people playing multiple different Omnis, like Alter B. I've seen them playing the X Antibody, because you can snipe a security out and unsuspend it. I don't know. I prefer Alter B because Alter B says, oh, you're at 3 security, I'm sorry, you're dead. As long as you have this War Greymon in your stack, 3 security and they're dead. It doesn't matter if you lose the overflow, they're just dead. So, of course, this card, when he comes out, is D-Digivolve 3, and then it's on 1 stack specifically, and then you can delete up to 6 play cost of your opponent's stuff, specifically Digimon. And then his when attacking, honestly, none of that text matters. The only thing you care about is trashing 3 level 6 or highers to trash 2 security. For every card you trash, though, you get to delete something on the board of the lowest play cost. So that's not what we use it for, though. It's a game ender. He is your game ender. Next, Tamers. Of course, we're playing 4 of the new Tamer. This card all turns when one of your Digimon is played or Digivolved. By suspending this Tamer, you can gain a memory if you have a Greymon, and then gain a memory if you have a Garurumon. So for the more of these you have out, whenever you do your warp play by hard playing your level 6, you're going to be gaining memory off of it. So hard playing a level 6 for 8 memory actually becomes 6, and then it becomes, you know, less and less the more of these you have. So already with these out, the Omni DNA play is only a 6 memory play, which is very nice. And then end of turn, your Omnimon may attack. Now this can sneak games out of your opponent. If your opponent's only sitting at 1 security, and you're able to warp DNA into an Omnimon, and you can just swing with it and clear a security with the War Greymon to swing for game. So this is a very good Tamer. This deck honestly kind of falls apart sometimes if you don't see this card. This card is so important in the deck that not seeing it feels super bad. And then, of course, after that, we were playing 3 copies of Tai and Kari. So Tai and Kari, all turns when you hatch in your breeding area, you gain a memory by suspending it. And then end of your turn, you can bot deck this card, draw a card, and then play a card with either Tai or Kari in its name from your hand or trash. From your hand, just your hand, without paying the cost.
Pretty good.
So that card's very good because it essentially lets you cheat out every single copy of any tamer in this deck for 3 memory. So a good opening play is to just hard play this and then get to cheat out your 4-cost memory, not your 4-cost memory, your 4-cost Tai mat for free. So that's very good. And of course, it draws you a card, which is good card advantage. And then I am testing out 2 copies of the Memory Setter Tai. I've seen some lists play this, and I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. But honestly, having access to 3 memory really made this deck play a lot better because it gave you access to your option card. It was always live as long as you had the color requirements. It gives you access to just hard playing a level 3 and then hard playing your level 6 for a Warp DNA play. I really like this card. The only thing I might consider is trying to find a better memory setter because when attacking, redirecting to draw a card in plus 2000 DP almost never came up for me. I almost never was redirecting attacks, so I almost never got any bonuses off this. So I'm open to suggestions on better memory setters. I'm not sure if there's anything better with Tai in the name at the moment, but if you guys think of something, let me know. So that's it for the Tamers. Then, of course, option cards. We are running 4 of the best card in this deck next to Omnimon, Miraculous Mega Knight. So this is Digimon's essentially 2nd or 3rd trap card in this game, next to cards like Biting Crush, but this one's way easier to pull off. So its main effect is you may play an Agumon or Gabumon from your hand or trash without paying the cost, and then place this in the battle area. And then, all turns, when one of your level 6 Digimon with Greymon or Garurumon in its name would leave the battle area other than by battle, you can pop the delay effect to Blast DNA. So, essentially, your opponent is forced to walk straight face first into your Omnimon. If they swing, they get Omnimon. If they try to out one of your stacks, they get Omnimon. The only thing that prevents you from Omnimoning them is D-Digivolve. That's kind of the only way they can get around it. But then one of your level 6s is usually hard played, so there's nothing underneath it. So they're in a pickle. They essentially have to burn this and then out the Omnimon that comes out, which isn't always possible for certain decks. And then, of course, his security effect, you may play a Tai or Mat from hand or trash without paying the cost, and then add this card to your hand. So if your opponent has somehow managed to trash a security, but then hits this card, you can actually bring this from your trash out. Or if you have it in your hand, you have it in your hand. You can just play it for free, which is nice. And then the final 3 cards in my deck, I'm running 3 copies of Arab Dragons. I wanted to play a full 4, but I ended up subbing in a extra copy of EX1 Gabu, just so I had a few extra level 3s in the deck for me to hard play. But this card is almost always live because we're playing a red Tama. That was the problem with Alter S, is this card wasn't always live. You had to see either BT12 Agu or you had to see the Tamer. But you can just hatch and then activate this card immediately if it's in your opening hand, which is very good. So, of course, main, draw 2. And then if you have a Greymon on the board, you can pop something with 4,000 DP and then security, activate main effect. Now, you might be tempted to play Fireball, but the problem with Fireball is it has the potential to not draw you cards. Because if your opponent knows you're playing Fireball, they can just hard play a rookie and prevent you from digging in your deck, whereas this is always a guaranteed draw 2. This actually won me a game tonight. My opponent checked it out of security. I drew the piece I needed to Omni-Ace them, and then when they went to swing for game, I was able to Omni-Ace them because they thought they were safe because 3 other attacks had gone through, and I wiped their board and won the next turn. So this card's very good. I would definitely recommend trying it in this deck. It's just honestly kind of broken. But yeah, that's the game, the deck, guys. If you guys like this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next episode.